friend Roger Christopherson here again with another first listen review. And the one I'm going to be babbling about today was actually originally scheduled to be here today, and apparently there were some shipping issues with this domestically and whatnot, so this is why I try to order things overseas whenever I can and from different markets, because this happens all the time, especially if you order things through Amazon. So I was lucky enough to be able to listen and check out this before some people are going to be able to. And I'm talking about Live at Budakon, the new album from Helloween. This is actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think this was released on DVD or something already, but I don't know, I didn't get that. So I'm really happy to be able to have this, and I got a chance to listen to it, and very cool. If you have not followed the history of Helloween, they have basically 3 singers at this point, 3 guitarists, if I'm not mistaken, at this point too. Oh yeah, 3 guitarists, and you know, they've been around for a while. This is actually one of those bands that I heard Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1, I think it was 87 if I'm not mistaken, and I remember just seeing the video on MTV, whatever it was, Headbangers Ball, and the video for the song Helloween, and the edited version, of course, and just thought that was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. It was kind of like, at the time, I probably still think this actually, it was like Iron Maiden, but more progressive, if you can imagine that, and of course with the super high vocals of Michael Kiske, which I've always pronounced it that way. I don't know if that's correct or not. I've heard it a couple different ways, but of course a couple great albums he did with them. I had to go back and of course get you know, the EP and Walls of Jericho, which, you know, had Kai Hansen singing on it. And as we all know, or maybe not, multiple lineup changes throughout the years. Kai left, Michael left. They've changed quite a few things since that point. Even when Michael was still in the band, the musical style changed quite a bit. Like Pink Bubbles Go Ape, and was it Chameleon was the other one. Even for me, I didn't, you know, kind of lost interest with them. Then, of course, when they got their newest singer in there, Andy Darris, it was kind of like a renewed style back to their more power metal type, whatever you want to call it, influences, and I started listening to them more intently again, and really enjoyed the stuff they did with him, although nothing's really going to hold, you know, my heart like those earlier couple recordings, you know, the first few albums. Like Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1, I don't think I ever skipped a single song on that one when I listened to it. Even A Tale That Wasn't Right. But anyway, there's quite a bit of that covered here on the live one. The first opening track, though, however, Orbit, even my band is guilty of doing this, like very epic, grand opening songs that go on too long. But other than that, it kicks in with Skyfall. After that, Skyfall, you know, which is, I thought was an odd one to choose. Good song, but it's not one of their, as far as I know, one of their most well-known ones, but pretty good song. But then, of course, then it kicks into Eagle Fly Free, which, you know, super huge, massive, you know, big song for them as far as their history goes. And that kind of goes back and forth from that point on, you know, for me anyway, like songs that I really know and songs that I really didn't know, like Mass Pollution. This is kind of one of the ones that was just a good song, but not as familiar with it as some of the other ones that came after that. Like, you know, then they go into Future World, of course, from Keeper, like I was talking about. I think that's actually the only one other than Keeper of the Seven Keys that they actually do on here. I'm looking, I don't know, it's kind of weird. They didn't actually play Helloween on here, I just am realizing that too, so it's kind of strange, the choice of songs they had. But I don't know, I'm just babbling, that's what I do. Of course, I warned you about that right from the start. And then they do Power, and also another one not as familiar for me as some of the other ones, but Save Us, one of my favorite songs of theirs. Just that one kicked in. It was just fun to hear the 3 guitar. I've heard it before, but it was just nice to hear them doing it again with the 3 guitars. It's actually pretty cool. But one of my favorite things here about this one was Kai's medley, which is when Kai Hansen was the actual lead singer of the band. Just the first couple releases they did, the album and the EP there. He just does a few songs on here like Walls of Jericho, Metal Invaders, Gorgar, and then Ride the Sky, which is probably the most well-known of that era of him. And then they ended with Heavy Metal is the Law. Now it's funny, I've heard Kai, and he actually sang for, was the lead singer in Gamma Ray here and there too, until he decided to actually get a singer to sing for that band when he, left Helloween there for a while. But Ride the Sky, I've heard him do that one plenty of times, and he's always nailed it, and I was always impressed how he could play that and sing. Might have been an off night for him. That's the only thing I'm going to say a little bit negative about this one. He definitely had some trouble with the vocals on this one, and a little garbly there a couple times on the other stuff, but other than that, still was fun to listen to. I mean, that's what you get when you have live, and I hate it when bands go in and fix the stuff, so I'm glad they didn't try to go back in and touch it up and fix anything like that, even though it is a little rough. Still would rather hear that than a edited version of it. So kudos to those guys for not doing that, even though I'm sitting here kind of nitpicking it anyway. But and then they go into Forever in One, which might be my least favorite song of theirs, but some people like this one. I don't know. It's not that it's a bad song, just never really just did anything for me. It doesn't it's not one of these things I hear and I just go, blah, I want to turn it off, but it never really just did anything for me at all. But anyway, that's how they end the first one. And then CD2 is weird. They got it's like long epic versions of all these, of 4 of these songs anyway. Well, maybe not 4, 3 of them. But they do Best Time, which is a decent song, but also, again, not one I'm super familiar with. But then Dr. Stein, or Steen, I guess it's Stein. Shows their humor in their lyrics, which they do have on several of their earlier, like after Michael joined, I guess is when they started showing a little bit of that tongue-in-cheek, funnier stuff here and there. And that's just one of the ones that actually was kind of a big popular song for them. Quite honestly, I know it's off of a different album, but I was really surprised they didn't do I'm Alive. Or Helloween, actually. I just already mentioned that one. But anything off of the first Keeper, that was surprising. I did the one song. And then, of course, they go into another one, How Many Tears, which actually I guess was a fairly popular song, but like I just mentioned, it seems like they could have done something else. But then we got Keeper of the Seven Keys, super long version of this one, and which was fine. I don't mind that at all. I actually really enjoyed, when bands do that. They did that with Helloween too. So I guess if they were going to do a long one, I've heard Helloween like tons of times. So I guess it's good to switch it up a little bit with Keeper. And then another one which I don't really care for too much, which was Perfect Gentleman. Could have dealt without that one, and they did a whole bunch of band introductions and stuff that made it even longer. But then they ended with I Want Out, which of course for a lot of Helloween fans is top-notch Helloween, and for me that stands true as well. Really like that song, so it's a cool way to end it. Kind of enjoying the 3 vocalist type thing and the 3 guitars. Actually really cool listening to it, hearing how they worked with 3 guitars, and it actually sounds really cool. I mean, Iron Maiden did the same thing, and it's just kind of cool hearing these songs done. I mean, they're a lot more intricate than you realize when you're sitting and just listening to it, and there's a lot more to them than just standard old power metal, like some bands do. These guys were kind of like they get a lot of credit for being the inventors of it. I can't really argue with that, I guess. And I really enjoy what they do, and I'm glad that they did this, and I can't wait to hear it. I guess they got a new one coming out next year. First single's supposed to drop in February, so I'm ready for that. And I guess people in the States are supposed to get this full release first week of January or something. I don't know why they do that stuff, to announce dates and then push them back, but they do what they do. And if you're looking forward to getting this one, that's just kind of my quick review on it. It's kind of got its highs, and it's got a couple that are just, I wouldn't say lows, but just okays. And that, for me, that's just kind of how it panned out. But I'm sure other people think differently, and when you get a chance to actually hear it, feel free to stop by, leave a comment, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because I can't wait to hear this new album these guys are doing. But anyway, this was kind of cool in the meantime. But until then, we will see you.